Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, and how to build strong family relationships through the lens of the principle self-government. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how children of aggressive parents see the world. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about aggressive parenting, what happens to children inside, what happens to their relationships, and then what happens to the way that they see the world going forward. And then, as a bonus, at the end, I've got something free for you that will help with any parent that you may know who wants to be a little bit more assertive instead of aggressive in their parenting. Aggressive people are more likely to attack you or confront you, feel like, I need to confront you about something. Those are aggressive people. The people who don't just want to talk about it, they want to prove they're right and they want you to agree with them, and they're not going to stop until you do. In fact, what they're not going to stop is all the negative emotion going on the inside. I knew a couple one time who had a divorce, and the husband in the relationship decided, well, I hope the best for her. It's not going to work out, obviously, because there were some major issues that were happening with her being massively aggressive with him. And he said, you know what? I hope the best for her. And he moved on and put it out of his mind. It was hard, lots of heartache, everything else. But the wife was so aggressive. She would not stop. A year later, she's like, I'm going to burn my wedding dress and spray paint it on Facebook, And then after that, it was like, oh, now he's happy in a relationship. Oh, this is what you feel like when your ex is happy with somebody else. I mean, she just could not let it go. It was just anger. That person was absolutely aggressive down to the core. Now, there's varying degrees of aggressiveness, and many people are just situationally aggressive as opposed to being aggressive in everything all the time. But I'll tell you what, even if you just are aggressive in certain situations, like maybe some parenting situations, your children end up seeing you in a different light. I have a whole video on how children of aggressive parents see their parents. So be sure to check that out if you want more information there. But they end up getting some psychological damage that occurs, even if it's just sometimes. Now, are there things that you can do about it? Yes, repair work can happen, but let's catch it and stop it before the child ends up stopping their ability to connect with the world in a healthy way, because that is definitely one of the effects of a person who has had an aggressive upbringing. We're going to talk about how these children who are raised with aggressive parents see the media, other homes, and their lives in general, just what's going on around them and what we can do about it. But before I do that, click the subscribe button now. There are so many things on this channel related to strong family bonds, to healing those breaches and fixing those relationships. And those are going to be things that you're going to want to find out more about. And don't forget that notification bell too, so that you are notified when new content comes out on this channel. So let's talk about how these children who are raised by aggressive parents see the world. Let's start with the media. So in the media, we have the extremes, okay? We've got over here where it's like everybody is angry and aggressive too. And it seems like the way to solve your problem is aggressiveness. So a person who's been raised aggressively is going to look at that and go, yep, that is the way you solve problems. So my goal then is to become bigger and more aggressive than this other lady or this other guy who seems to be controlling me, right? So they just develop more of a war mentality because of what is going on in the media. Or they see this polar opposite, which is the victim. Like, oh no, everything has happened to me. I feel so bad. And we don't ever see the people in the middle who are just really level-headed. These are the more rare characters that show up in the dramas and the the video games and the things. We don't see the person who's just like, hey, wait a second, what's the truth here? Or what's the principle? Or what do we do to preserve a relationship and solve a problem? Like, that just doesn't happen. Usually it's the emotion. That's what makes that television program or that video game keep going, and what gives it such an addictive quality, because it puts you in a certain part of your brain where you crave that emotional, overload that's happening. So the child doesn't see how to really solve a problem because of that. Either they become the victim or they become the aggressor. And those seem like the only options that they have. Wow, talk about feeling stuck. If you don't know any other way to solve your problem besides being on the emotional extreme of this spectrum, that means you're going to be worn out and hurt no matter what. How hopeless is that going to be then? How hopeless. So what is going to happen to the children? There's going to be more depression, more anxiety, more hurt bonds, fractured family relationships. And how are they going to see other homes around them? They're going to assume that everybody has the same thing going on at their house. And when they meet the rare family that doesn't have that going on, they're not going to know how to process that. In fact, they're going to wonder if it's even true, or if people are just putting on a show, or if it's even duplicatable, it's some fluke. When it used to be that the really dysfunctional family was rare, now we have the dysfunctional families who are either victims or aggressors being the norm. And we've just embraced it as the norm too. But it didn't used to be embraced as the norm. The norm used to be people who worked together to solve their problems. They were a family unit. They weren't individuals just living together, mooching off each other. They were a family. It was different. They saw themselves with one identity as one group of people. Our children need to see that too. So how can we do that? Children who have been raised with aggressive parents get a distorted view of the world. They're not sure if they can trust what's going on around them, and so they oftentimes feel very lonely, and they don't have their tribe of people unless it's just the aggressive tribe or the victim tribe. But then it's all about emotion, and it wears them out anyway. If they want to get away from all the emotion entirely, sometimes they think they just have to go off and be a loner and not connect to anybody. In fact, lots of times they don't even want families. They don't want children because they think it looks awful. How sad is that? How sad that our children could grow up thinking that having a family would be the hardest, worst thing they could ever do. Is it hard? Yes, there's going to be some difficulty there. But it's also the most fulfilling, the happiest. It's the thing that we look back on when we hit old age. We say, hey, where's my family? Who are the people that I care about? Those are the things that we look to and value the very most. So how do we create that bigger picture where we're looking ahead? Everyone has to look ahead in the family. In order to change one heart, the whole family usually has to make an adjustment, and it can start with the parents. The parent heart can choose not to be aggressive, and this book can help. Parenting a House United is dedicated to helping parents, whether aggressive or passive, or even if you're already assertive, to become more assertive, to learn the skills and principles that you need to strengthen the relationships and solve your problems at the same time. Because it is possible. And I know, because I had some of the most difficult teens come to live with me as a treatment foster parent. I even showed the world in 2009 that it was possible by being on a documentary for the BBC called The World's Strictest Parents, where two troubled 17-year-olds came to stay in my house for 8 days. And after 2 days of tantrums, they calmed down, they changed, and by the end of the program were begging not to leave my home. And if you need skill help for the calmness, then I've got the help for you. In fact, I'd like to give you a free gift. In the description below this video, there is a link that says teachselfgov.com/toolkit. For right now, that will take you to my Calm Parenting Toolkit, which has 10 lessons in it, will help you learn the tools that you need to maintain your calmness. And you can have that for free right now. This is a great starter course to learning self-government. Go ahead and click on the link to that free Calm Parenting Toolkit today, and I'll see you there.